defenders, I think, it's like.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, man. Come on, Ian, the man, the myth, that deluded kid, and all them things there. People deluded, I'm back again. First things first, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and in some cases, good night. I hope you're all doing well and safe. Festive greetings and them things there. Hope you all had a Merry Christmas, and I hope it's a Happy New Year. I appreciate all the support you give my platform. I'm very appreciative of what we've been able to amass here. 52,000 subs and counting, people, and the journey hasn't stopped. So if you haven't hit the like button, turn on your notifications. Made sure you're commenting either in the live chat or the comment section after. Do what you need to do. All of these things boost the YouTube algorithm. Please let me know your opinions on everything we discuss within this video. Now, obviously, well, the Premier League's back. Arsenal just keep winning. We dealt with West Ham United and things like that. Hopefully, we deal with Brighton, Newcastle, and anyone that steps in our way in all competitions. But we're approaching January. Time of making this video, or better yet, the date of making this video is the 28th of December. The January window's upon us, and there's Joao Felix, there's Mudryk, there's this guy, there's that guy in the third, and Mykhailo sounded quite bullish, not necessarily in terms of giving names away, but he kind of echoed what he was on in the summer, is in the sense of if we can get players in early, the better. They can settle, they can integrate. And as I've always said, for me as an Arsenal fan, one kind of abnormal thing I've liked about our overperformance this season and doing well is that, for me anyways, this is probably the best time to sign players, because it's not like the form is inconsistent, players are not performing, and the fans, in football, we need hope in it. So if there's, like Bukayo Saka, even now when things are a lot more sunny, when things were rainy, he was the one glimmer of hope. He was one player that you could identify he's actually on this. Now the whole collective team, the whole collective 11 are doing their thing. So there's not necessarily pressure on Mudryk, who's been described as the best left winger, excluding Vinicius and Neymar and Rafael, by his chairman and all of these things. So he'd be given that scope to grow. Obviously, there'd be a degree of expectation, the need to perform straight away and, justify the hype. But he could kind of take it easy, because if he was to sign tomorrow, Martinelli's got the left-hand spot on lock. Saka's over there on the right-hand side. Eddie's done well against West Ham. So, it's a bit like when Smith Rowe's fit, we'd have a stronger squad. We'd have more competition for places. We'd give him that healthy scope to adapt on the field, off the field, and what Mikel Arteta demands of him in all aspects. And he'd be, getting up to grips with the Premier League. So enough rambling. That's all I've got to say on that. But if I share my Google Doc sheet with you guys, Arsenal remain in talks with Shakhtar Donetsk over the signing of Mudryk. A gap in valuation for the player exists as well. The payment structure of the deal, with reports suggesting Shakhtar have rejected Arsenal's opening bid of around 55 million, including add-ons. One source has told Sky Sports News there is cautious optimism a deal can get done, with Arsenal thought to be encouraged by the player's desire to join. Mudryk was watching Arsenal's game against West Ham on Boxing Day on TV and posted a picture on Instagram, and he's been liking a lot of transfer news to go with interviews. He's doing everything he can. He's doing Twitter fingers. He's talking to anyone that will listen. So, yeah, we're moving in the right direction. Arsenal wanted to strengthen the forward line in the summer. Obviously, we didn't go for Rafinha. Like Chelsea fans, we probably feel a bullet's been dodged there in that regards. The potential signing of Mudryk is seen as an ideal purchase for Arsenal. The Ukraine international is someone the Gunners have scouted for a while. So if he scouted him for a while, we know his weaknesses, his strengths. So obviously, we can iron out the weaknesses, enhance his strengths, and we know about the player really. He's not seen as a direct replacement for Gabriel Jesus. I mean, he's a left winger, essentially. That's where the 21-year-old, who has 10 goals this season for Shakhtar, including 3 in the Champions League, has made his name, really. So it is what it is, people. And again, it's quite a rise. He's almost like Bitcoin, isn't it? At the start of last season, he was unknown outside of Ukraine, and he had a transfer value of under £1 million. Now look at what he's did, So, yeah. Apparently, he's been described as a special talent. Mudryk is a special talent. Anyone who's seen him play will realize the type of player he is. Direct and menacing with the ball at his feet. Shakhtar's courageous attempt at navigating their way through the Champions League group stages ultimately fell short, but their standout performer was Mudryk. As you can see here, for chances created, he ranked second. For touches in the up box, he ranks first. Martinelli is probably our highest ranking player for that. Dribbles completed, he's first. For Shakhtar in the champs. Assists, he's first. Goals scored, he's first, people. As you can see there, people, he has predominantly played on the left-hand side for Shakhtar. So it'll be interesting to see if Arteta deploys him in the same position or as a number 10. So yeah, you've got to be able to play a couple of roles, as you can see, people. Jesus technically can play out wide as well as up front. Saka can play left and right wing. Martinelli can play on those two as well as up front. You know, Zinchenko could play a bunch of midfield roles as well as left back. Ben White's obviously comfortable at centre back and right back. Tomiyasu can play all across the back three. And there's probably a couple of others. Xhaka's still a centre midfielder, but he can do a couple of different midfield roles, and the same extends to Odegaard, Fabio Vieira, etc. You need to be able to play. You need to be a master of one, which I think the lines have been blurred, but you know, we need multifunctional players. We need a stronger squad as well, which Mudryk gives that really. And left wing is probably Saka's got the right wing on lock. You know, one day you'd like to see a healthy pressure on him, even though he deserves that. Left wing is open season. Smith Rowe, Martinelli. Obviously, if Eddie Nketiah was to keep scoring, and Jesus was fit tomorrow, Jesus might have to go out wide. And obviously, you'd have Mudryk entering that fray as well. So yeah, we'll have to see. At this point, you have to be at London Coley training and the rest of it. Arsenal transfer offer for Mudryk rejected by Shakhtar as the Gunners push for January reinforcements, as you can see here. Arsenal are no closer to securing the services of Mudryk after having a £55 million bid rejected by Shakhtar Donetsk. Allegedly, Arsenal's interest in the Ukrainian is still in place, hopeful of completing the move in January, and the bid was around 40 million up front plus 15 million in add-ons, people. So yeah, while Shakhtar are keen to hold out for more, it's likely Arsenal will go back in with a second bid in the coming days. Their interest in Mudryk remains strong, and negotiations between the two clubs are ongoing as time ticks towards the January transfer window, people. So it is what it is. We'll have to see, really, in that regards. This report, primarily out of Ukraine, has said, reporting that it's not worth getting carried away about a Mudryk move from Ukraine just yet. The Shakhtar owner is weighing up whether to sell in January for 78 million or wait until the summer to try and win the Ukrainian Premier League and get a Champions League spot, in which their best player helps them do that. And that's something that everyone's doing in January. Everyone's trying to do what they're doing. Like the replacement of Mudryk, that club that they buy him from for Shakhtar, they're probably trying to achieve certain goals. So it might be a summer thing. And one wonders how far are Arsenal prepared to go? At what point or price is too much for Mudryk? And with that being said, what other options are there? You know, consistently we've been linked with Yeremy Pino, you know, Rafinha. Maybe it's worth offering if Barca get cold feet about his ability. You know, Pedro Neto will be resurfaced, Ferran Torres and these sort of guys. So at what point will Arsenal be prepared to walk away and go for someone else? Because as much as I like our pursuit of these players and I like the fact that we'll walk away, we tried can't help you get 3 points. You need a player, and our bench, especially with a couple of injuries, it is a bit meaty for as good as we've been this season and whatever we've been doing. So yeah, allegedly, Arsenal have sounded out the signing of Joao Felix, but Mikel Arteta has his doubts and prefers another striker in La Liga, says Kike Marin. I don't know who that striker is, people. So yeah. Mudryk the priority, but free signings possible to boost title bid. Arsenal January transfer guide, as you lot can see here, people. The top priority allegedly is a wide forward, says the Evening Standard. They wanted to sign one in the summer and looked at Pedro Neto from Wolves, but changed their approach late on and tried to buy a midfielder when both Partey and then they got injured. And it's almost like the reverse. As much as with Jesus, we're talking about strikers, and with the pursuit of Mudryk, that tends towards the left winger, what we're trying in the summer. I want both. I still would like a midfielder, but if Arteta believes we can get through till summer without one, then fair enough. I personally would like a midfielder. I think to enhance this squad, we need a centre-back, probably a right-back as well, just to complement the side, but I'd say centre-back. I would say an 8 and a number 6, kind of long-term heirs and mid-term, you know, mid-term sort of helpers for Xhaka and Partey long-term. Obviously, a left winger and a striker, as I alluded to, goes without saying, people. You know, I'm not going to keep repeating the same thing about Mudryk. We placed a bid. Allegedly, we're coming back in the opening days. The opening bid was around 55 million. Who knows, people? So, yeah. There's an argument to say that Arsenal need to go into the market for a striker, with Jesus facing 3 months out with a knee injury, people. Eddie's came in and done well, but it's unfair to just place it all on him for a decisive period in the season, you know, from now till May, really. So in terms of possible ins, as it says here, Mudryk has emerged as top target, but Arsenal will need Shakhtar to reduce their £85 million asking price. The club have also scouted Orlando City for Gondo Torres, but he would appear to be one for the future as opposed to the present. And wasn't we talking with his agent not too long ago? Jonathan David, who Paulo Fonseca, the Leo gaffer, has said that we'll struggle to keep him past the summer. Joao Felix, as you know, is being offered all around Europe. We've been linked with Yuri Telemans. Apparently, we are fans of Eintracht Frankfurt's Ivan Ndika and Yuri Telemans, who could sign for free in the summer, but, you know, might be able to try and get them on a cut price in January, but who knows? But it says here they could just wait and sign them both for free in the summer when their respective contracts expire. Possible outs, it seems to just be focused on Cedric. Reece Nelson's injured, his contract is running down. Not sure what's going on there, people. He could attract interest, but he is more or less said, I would like to sign a new deal. I'm not too sure with Mudryk coming in, with Martinelli, with Smith Rowe, with Saka and these wide men, with Eddie Nketiah in the sense of he's an attacking body. You know, there is scope, especially with 5 subs for Nelson to make it here, and he could have taken advantage with some injuries, but it seems like it's the beginning of the end, which I hope isn't the case. I'd love for Nelson to do a thing. Cedric doesn't appear close to leaving, but Fulham are allegedly leading the race for him, buying Leverkusen and Villarreal on the back burners. El Nene, people, apparently has an option to extend his contract by another year, but his contract is expiring and is technically in the last 6 months, really. So yeah, Arsenal remain in talks with Shakhtar Donetsk over a January deal for Mudryk. Sources have confirmed allegedly to 90 minutes. Football, people. Again, our opening offer for 55 million wasn't good enough. You know, apparently, you know, Shakhtar's initial asking price of 100 million has been lowered, but they are still looking at a deal worth 80 million in total, 60 million guaranteed fee with a further 20 million add-ons, people. Arsenal are still some way off that sum and will point to Liverpool's recent agreement with PSV Eindhoven for Cody Gakpo, which is worth 50 million in total. But PSV are open to selling. They're a bit more humble. Shakhtar are not really. You know, PSV haven't been sitting here and saying Gakpo is better than this guy, better than that guy. All Ruud van Nistelrooy and them and they have said is when the time comes, we'll have a conversation. Shakhtar want to sell for the highest P's, really. As you can see here, Shakhtar believe Mudryk should be valued similar to someone like Anthony, who cost Man United over 80 million. I hear you, but every deal is different, you know. Whether that's good business or bad business, take that up with United. It don't mean we have to do that. 90 Minutes has been told that Arsenal are confident of a deal being done in January, but at this point, it seems unlikely they will meet Shakhtar's current demands, people. So make of that what you will. Allegedly, Arsenal are still confident of bringing the Ukrainian Neymar Mudryk to the Emirates. I mean, I don't think a lot of people are going to give him time, but when he's dubbed the Ukrainian Neymar and all these things, it's crazy. But we'll have to see what's going on there, people. Again, as you can see here, the sporting director said he's the 3rd best youngster in the world behind Mbappe and Vinicius. Absolutely crazy. As much as I like him, he's been on the scene 2 minutes. So yeah, man, it is what it is. So every article just seems to be saying the same. As you can see there, once again, people, we kind of just reiterating the same things there. I don't know why I've got that twice there. Always making sure I don't miss a beat for you lot, people. Look at the work rate. Fabrizio Romano said, Shakhtar Donetsk have confirmed to Arsenal that they will not accept their opening official bid for Mudryk worth 40 million euros plus 20 million. It has been turned down as reported on Monday, but Arsenal still in contact with Shakhtar and the players' side. Negotiations will continue. So let's hope for the best in that. We've kind of seen that already. On Joao Felix, Fabrizio has said George Mendes has had new conversations with English clubs. He spoke to Arsenal, but Arsenal are now 100% focusing on Mudryk. Arsenal are working on a Mudryk deal more than Felix. They've had conversations with Mendes, but no official bid. Fair enough. We kind of knew that. Google Translate, Pedro Morata has said Atletico is going to play the hand of poker with Joao Felix. He will not go to the club that wants him. The club can go is thinking about it. Again, Google Translate not helping us. That club is 3 things have to be given. That club is liked by Atletico. They pay what Atletico wants. Joao Felix wants to go there. So that didn't really shed any light on anything really and truly. But apparently no negotiations open for Joao Felix. So it does feel like there's indirect communications. But in terms of dotting I's, crossing T's, doesn't feel any English club is willing to go to where Atletico wants. So it seems like there's quite a long way, people. In that regards, despite Joao Felix's desire to leave and his manager and the CEO of the club kind of saying if a good offer arrives, he can leave and all of these sort of things going on there, people. So this is just basically reiterating that, I guess. We've already seen that. What is this? Joao Felix could be a possibility, said Romano. For reasons it isn't worth getting into, the relationship between him and the boss, the minutes he's played, his motivation right now, it makes you think that the reasonable thing is that if there is an option that's good for the player, good for the club, we can look at it. I'd love him to stay personally, but I don't think that's the player's idea. That was the CEO. Romano said, if Atletico Madrid in the next days or weeks change the conditions of the deal, it could be a possibility for many clubs, not just for Arsenal. But at the moment, it's not something concrete or advanced, just a conversation with his agent that happened. And so far, we have to consider it as a possibility, but not as something that's advanced. There you have it there, people. So, and allegedly Arsenal are preparing a second bid for Mudryk, as you lot can see there, people. In relation to Milinković Savić, I mean, this is a horrible written article. Why is it all wide like that? Can you remove this? Not really. Arsenal didn't suddenly fall in love with Milinković. The interest dates back to the summer. The mission was twofold: to take a look at Milinković. Trying to scroll through people. The rumours bounced from England. The Sun summarised the English plan in the headline: an offer ready for Milinković in January. There are no offers either to Lazio or to to his advisors, I believe. Despite that, I'm trying to scroll through because Google Translate is not helpful. Arsenal today should be considered on pole in the race for Sergi. If he doesn't show up in January, they could do so in June, contracted until 2024. Milinković had rejected the Gunners' option in June. He was waiting for a club registered in the Champions League. In the few months, the scenario has changed. Arsenal has jumped to the top of the Premier League. The work of the coach, Mykhailo, has allowed the exploit. The project is now more convincing. It is reconsidered by the surgeon, maybe the Serbian, and his staff. From the day the rumours started related to the English rebounded, many former Gunners players and fans have expressed themselves on the possibility that the club will buy Milinković, people. And it's just reiterating what Phil Merson has said here, but it quite, doesn't really say anything. We know we've got admiration. Whether we bring him is another thing. It doesn't say a bid is ready and all these things. Ben Jacobs has said the challenge for all Joao Felix suitors is he's being offered on a straight loan with no buy option. That means an outlay of 8 million and 5.3. That's the fee, 8 million fee and 5.3 in terms of net salary. So that's over. That's a transfer fee for certain players, for someone that you're not going to have for beyond 6 months. I'm not sure. He's been offered to Arsenal, Chelsea, Man United, Newcastle, and Villa. But a give is needed by Atletico to make a loan more appealing. And we're at the start of January, better yet, we're not even there. So a game of poker, really. Apparently, a source has told Sky Sports News there is cautious optimism a deal can be done with Arsenal, thought to be encouraged by Mudryk's desire to join. Once again, reiterating that. Negotiations, Charles Watson said, negotiations between Arsenal and Shakhtar over Mudryk will be intriguing. Arsenal will feel their first offer, which has been rejected, was quite fair, given, Gakpo's move to Liverpool. Shakhtar still point towards the likes of Anthony, though, who blinks first? And that's the key question, really and truly, and probably the only question, really. So we'll have to see how that one there develops, folks. Boy, Chelsea have communicated willingness to pay 105 million for Enzo Fernandez. Must be nice. Get ourselves one of them brothers there. But it is what it is, folks. Arsenal well placed to sign Mudryk this week after green light. Arsenal increasingly confident of signing Mudryk. A deal could be finalized by the end of the week. I mean, we're at the halfway point in Wednesday. Anything can happen, but do I expect to see that? Big up Gabriel Jesus, people, because he's posted an update on his knee, and again how his knee reacts to the rehab and the surgery, whether it's 3 months, 2 weeks, whatever, probably dictates if Arsenal are going to bring in a striker or if anything. Even though I believe if everybody is fit, as we were saying in August, kind of if you could have your cake and eat it, there is a scope to have a striker in the squad, maybe someone that's a bit different to Eddie Nketiah and Jesus, maybe a bit more of a Giroud sort of guy, just to help us, people. So yeah, we'll have to see in relation to that, people. But yeah, big up Jesus. Health is wealth, Oh, that's a very shit thing to see, Thought so with Liverpool coach Jay Spearing on Christmas Eve. He's had a rare Addison's disease. This is what I always say to you lot. I hope you're all in good health. We really can't underestimate that. I really do hope you lot remain in good health and your loved ones as well. If you are liking the vid, please make sure you're smashing the like button. You're turning on your notifications. You're checking out the YouTube playlist. But it's nice to see. We know Jesus is a fighter, man. Like, I'm no medical man, but the knee's braced up and that. He's not feeling sorry for himself. He's at the Emirates supporting the boys and he's beginning his rehab. And Jesus is a bit like Xhaka. If they say 3 months, I think he's back in 2. But again, you've got to save the player for themselves. He wants to help the team. He wants to play. It's a bit like Reece James. Clearly, he's been signed off by several medical people that he's able to play for Chelsea, but he hurt himself yesterday after playing 52 minutes. We've all been there in Sunday League. You might know in your heart that you've got an injury, but you think you can still play. And I'm not 100%. I'm 95%. And that 5% could be the difference. So there is a degree of having to save Jesus for himself, really and truly. But it's nice to see he's there and he's working and he's, recovering and things like that. So big up Jesus, man. It breaks my heart to obviously see him there, people, on crutches and all of them things there. So yeah, man, we hope Jesus gets better, not before too long. So yeah, we've spoken about Joao Felix, about Mykhailo Mudryk, about whoever, people, Milinković Savić. Please let me know your opinions by commenting. Make sure you're hitting the like button, you're subscribing, you're turning your notifications on. At the time of making this vid tonight, live from 7:50, 10 minutes before the game kicks off, we're watching Leeds United against Manchester City. Leeds United are probably going to get battered and Haaland's probably going to score a hat-trick or 4 goals and do the Arshavin thing. But if Arsenal are chasing the league title, you don't know, wherever Newcastle or City could drop points, we're all for it. But yeah, most importantly, stay blessed, stay safe. One love for supporting the content. I'm going to leave you lot now. God bless you all.
because he always used to